Hello, Bryan Colter, Evolutionary Astrologer here for another horoscope report for the upcoming Pisces New Moon that happens on February 23rd at 7:32 AM Pacific Time. And this is probably one of my favorite new moons of the entire year. It is just beautiful. And that's because it's forming a variety of very powerful, positive, beneficial aspects to other planets and points in the sky during the new moon. And I'll just, rattle them off here and then I'll translate it into English. What does it all mean? So the new moon itself happens at 4 degrees of Pisces, moon next to the sun. And then it's also forming a conjunction to Mercury in Pisces, which is in retrograde at about 9 degrees of Pisces. So Mercury is right there with the sun and moon as well. And it's simultaneously forming what's called a sextile, a 60-degree angle, very positive aspect, to Mars in Capricorn, as well as the south node of the moon in Capricorn at 4 and 5 degrees of Capricorn. It's also forming a sextile on the other side to Uranus in Taurus. Not done yet. It's also forming, the sun and moon are forming a trine, 120-degree angle, also very positive, to the north node of the moon in Cancer. And there's a lot to unpack here. But as we can see, we have a few sextiles, a conjunction, and a trine. Very, very positive. Is a perfect time to set new intentions. I like to think of it as our once-a-month check-in. It's like, okay, let's aim our rudder here in a new direction that's more in alignment with the planetary energies going on here so that we can utilize the most benefit in evolution through them. So new intentions, new beginnings, setting our rudder towards a more, let's say, Piscean direction or more watery direction because it's a water sign. The Mars, the south node, and the Uranus are in earth signs. The north node in Cancer is a water sign, so we have this earth-water combination that we're going to need to understand and apply that to our new direction, our new intention. Now, starting with Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde is kind of fun. It's been kind of a cultural joke, but in a very playful way. It's like even people that don't necessarily even believe in astrology, some mishap happens in their life, and even they will blame Mercury Retrograde. It must be Mercury Retrograde, and that's fun, It's become a little bit of a cliche, but a cliche is just a recognition of a pattern. And it is true. During Mercury Retrograde, our technological devices do some very strange things. Our machinery, the washing machine just breaks, so there's also a lot of issues with scheduling, things like this, misinterpretations, miscommunications. And, okay, that definitely happens, but let's understand the deeper meaning of Mercury Retrograde in terms of our inner journey and how we can apply this to this new moon period of setting intentions for the next few weeks. And the way I view retrograde planets is it's the archetype of that planet, the energy it represents, turned inward, more introverted expression of that planet. And with Mercury, it represents the mind, our intelligence, our cognitive function. So the mind turned inward. And Mercury being in Pisces, an emotional-based sign, since it's a water sign, it's already a very inward-focused sign itself. And here it's retrograde, inward-focused through the retrogradation. The mind turned inward, the introverted mind. And people who have a more extroverted mind, if all of a sudden you're working with introverted energies, you can get your signals crossed, and hence all the misinterpretations and miscommunications. Now, how you can take advantage of this energy is being less, let's say, action-oriented. Mars is in the picture here, so we'll talk about healthy ways to apply action. But more inward, okay, more about reflection, less about action. People who are introverted, reflect, take action, then reflect again on that action. People who are extroverted, take action, reflect, take action again. You could see how they're opposites in that way. But taking advantage of this energy is focusing more on the spectrum of reflection, less on the spectrum of action. A really good time for journaling, or dream journaling too, because as we'll see, Pisces being emphasized here, people's dreams are going to become more vivid, more intense, maybe even more lucid. So taking advantage of that is, having a little journal by your bedstand. And when you wake up, before you forget the dream, write it down, because the symbology of your dream can really pop through with some very pertinent information to you in your life and your journey. Also creating situations in your life that will help to calm the mind, calm the very turbulent waters of the mind, so that you can just float. Sticking with that water imagery. Actually, you can use water to do such things. It's like the image of taking a bubble bath. It's like there you are taking a bubble bath and you're just relaxing, or a hot tub or something like this. It's about, bottom line with Pisces, it's about meditation. It's the high-end expression, and this is actually a good segue to swan dive into the waters of Pisces. And Pisces, when we look at the archetype of Pisces, has an extreme high end and an extreme low end. Every front has a back. Really, all the archetypes have a high and low, but there's a stark juxtaposition with Pisces in particular. Okay, basically high-end Pisces, the mystic, the dreamer, the poet, is God consciousness. It's communing with the divine. It's the raindrop landing into the ocean, becoming one with the ocean. It's a very transcendent energy. Extreme high-end Pisces. Now, with Pisces energy, since we're feeling this all so strongly now, especially those who have planets around for, really 1 to 8 degrees of Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, your psychic sensitivity is going to be cranked up with all this Pisces energy. Globally, we're even more psychically attuned to higher dimensions of reality, psychically attuned to the pain of the world, and there's a lot of pain and malevolence on this planet. Okay, so psychic perception is amplified now. And this leaves us susceptible to the extreme shadow side of Pisces, which is addiction. So is it spirit or spirits? Now, by spirits, I don't mean ghosts and entities, although there may be some of that too. By spirits, I mean it's a reference to alcohol, So is it spirit or spirits? Now, we don't need to narrowly focus on alcohol here. We use that as a metaphor, broadly speaking, for addiction. We can get drunk on our cell phones. We can get drunk on endlessly swiping downwards on our Instagram feed, binging on Netflix video. Anything that's pleasurable and repeatable that numbs ourselves from feeling the pain that we feel so strongly now, with our psychic abilities strengthened. So by leveraging this new intention for the next couple weeks, focusing more on the expansion of consciousness, which is so strongly supported by these variety of planets through the sextiles and the trines, is really the high-end expression of working with this. And I love working in new moon periods with, creating this strong intention, which has a magical quality to it. We are powerful beings. We are gods with little g's. We're extensions of gods. We're souls down here, infinite souls having this very finite experience, and we can tap into the magic of our strong intention. And during the new moon, that's a time of new intentions. We can create this spell, so to speak, in our lives to strive for high-end Pisces. Now, the danger or the shadow side of sextiles and trines isn't hellfire and brimstone at all, because, again, it's very supportive energy. The danger of all these very supportive energies is to sleep through them, to not take advantage of them, to ignore they're there, and continue to swipe down on our Instagram and Facebook feeds. For example, one of my biggest addictions in life has been video games. I'm 38 years old. A young boy at 6 years old got my first Nintendo, and it was over. That's all she wrote. It's like, as soon as I got my hands on Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, it's like I cringe at how many hours I have just melted into a completely different reality. That's what video games offer. Another one I stumbled through was pot, and of course pot and video games kind of go hand in hand. So it's like when I think back at my 20s, I commonly think, wow, I just rolled up my 20s in a fat doob and smoked it. Like I barely remember that decade. And I cringe thinking back at that time. It's like all that wasted potential, when I could have been growing. I was just wasting it. Why? Because I was numbing myself, for my own pain. And I have Neptune conjunct my sun. For those of you who knows what that means. Neptune is the planet that rules Pisces. A lot of overlap in meaning between Pisces and Neptune. So for you Neptune folks out there that have strong Neptunes on your ascendant or moon or sun in your birth chart, you're feeling this Pisces energy very strongly right now. But my identity, the sun, is fused with the archetypes of Neptune, mystical Neptune. And when I started learning about astrology, that I had Neptune on my sun and realized the high end of Neptune, working with Neptune in our lives, and the low end, and I looked back on my life and I was like, wow, I could just see how I was just losing myself in dark side Neptune through much of my life. And of course, I've taken that rudder and I've turned the boat around, but and I've gone in the more higher expression of Neptune towards a deepening of my spiritual life and meditative life. But I still feel the pull, of my vices. Sometimes I open my app store and I'm looking at the games that are coming out, for my smartphone, and it's like I can't help myself. I constantly have to pivot. So the stumbling block's definitely still there. And for this heavy Pisces time, for those of you, again, who have planets or an aspect to this new moon right now, or sensitive to those energies, are feeling it strongly. So allow me to recommend the high-end expression, which is not easy to do, which is being that raindrop landing into the ocean. Now we can look to Mars and Uranus to support this Piscean motivation of communing with God, so to speak, through the sextiles that the moon and sun are forming to Mars and Uranus. And this is very interesting because Mars, the war god, has a fiery feeling to it. Uranus, the god of earthquakes and lightning bolts, has more of an electric feeling to it. The combination of these two planets supporting this Piscean motivation of looking within, tapping more into our subjective reality and higher dimensions of reality. Mars-Uranus kind of feels like a powder keg, feels explosive, feels volatile sometimes. And of course, that can get out of hand real quickly, but we got to remember these are sextiles, they're more supportive. The highest potential of this combination of planets right now is a massive spike in consciousness, an explosion of consciousness. Now, from Eastern religions and philosophies, there's kind of two approaches or understandings about enlightenment. One of them is it's a gradual process, a little bit of growth and evolution in each lifetime. And then kind of the countervailing interpretation is that breakthrough moment, an enlightenment that happens in a flash, in an instant. Like the Eckhart Tolles of the world. They're just sitting there on a park bench having a sandwich, and then all of a sudden they're one with the one mind. You hear those stories too. Okay? So this feels more like in the explosion, in an instant lightning bolt of an event that happens. It's ripe for this. We're ripe to be rapidly moving up this more Piscean continuum, which is really the quantity of our own light. It's soul stuff. It's God stuff. But the trick is not to sleep through it and to take action. And Mars is an assertive, fiery, action-oriented planet. And here it is in a very Capricorn, an earthy sign about discipline. So taking assertive, disciplined action and forcing yourself to pop a squat and meditate. Or get in that bubble bath. That's a form of meditation, although that's less of a sacrifice. Who's going to turn down a bubble bath? But meditation, it takes some discipline, it takes some action. And you can tap into that to accomplish this. And the more you do that with consistency, that's a very earthy word, the more potential you have to tap into this lightning bolt potential, this kinetic explosiveness as we apply it to our inward Piscean journey. When playing with this imagery in my mind of the earth and the water, it makes me think of a volcano, still underneath the surface of the ocean, and all of a sudden coming up and forming a new island. Out of the blue, it's like, there's an island there all of a sudden. Combination of earth poking up beneath the surface of the water. And of course, Mars and Uranus have this sort of electric, fiery feeling to it. And of course, volcanoes are pretty explosive, needless to say. But before the volcano created the island, it was not visible. It was beneath the surface of the water. This is lower levels of consciousness. Underneath the surface of the water, you have the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, unseen, kind of on autopilot in our daily life. And most of us live 80% subconsciously. And that's what climbing the ladder of consciousness is all about, becoming more and more conscious and less operating subconsciously. And if we tap into addictive behaviors, we're just feeding that subconscious. We're just checking out, preferring not to think and be in the present moment. So as the volcano rises above the surface of the sea, creates this new visual structure and is heightened. It's higher up in the sky above the water, a raising of consciousness explosively because of the fire brewing below. So tapping into this fire energy is taking action and rising as high into the sky as we can. And the good reason for doing this is the North Node in Cancer. Remember, trine to the North Node in Cancer. Also, the new moon's in a sextile to the South Node in Capricorn. And this axis, this nodal axis, represents collective karma on one level. So we're trying to sort of heal from the negative, shadowy expressions of South Node Capricorn, okay, and reach the high-end expression of Cancer. And the more we do that, the more we balance out the karma. The more we heal, the more we expand our consciousness. So the negative side of Capricorn is moving beyond, evolving past the calcified, ritualized habits and artifacts of the past that have really held us back. Control, ambition, toxic ambition, all these negative Capricorn qualities. So ultimately, we can heal. We can mend our wounds and move beyond them. That's Cancer. It's about softening those hardened structures into a new future. So really, the highest expression of Cancer is healing, is self-nurturing. And of course, the more we raise our consciousness, which is the whole point of this, working with this Pisces energy, to rapidly be moving up that continuum, is to heal. Because the more we raise our consciousness, the less susceptible we are to the more negative emotions and thoughts that is a part of life as we explore it. So taking disciplined action, Mars in Capricorn, to go inward through the mind, Mercury Retrograde, so that we can go up towards God through our spiritual meditative practices. That's Pisces, for the breakthrough explosion in consciousness, supported by Uranus, so that we can heal towards this Cancer karmic aim of licking our own wounds as we transcend the more negative subset of potentials within our very flawed personalities here, as our soul tries to shine through them as clearly as it can. So will we sprout angel wings or clip them? Is it spirit or spirits? Will we take advantage of these supportive trines and sextiles or sleep through them and slip into a numbing coma of self-medication through escape artist behavior? Or really tap into this pure evolutionary intention here, which is the beautiful possibility of a rapid expansion of consciousness. Now, that's the astrological analysis part of this video. Now we want to transition into the meditation, and there's a very specific meditation I want to share with you here that will help you to tap into this Pisces energy. Begin by sitting upright, either on the edge of a chair or on a meditation pillow. You want to make sure the spine is nice and straight. Your eyes should be closed, and the tip of your tongue lightly placed on the roof of your mouth, directly behind your upper teeth. And buckle your seatbelt, because we're about to go on a journey. Rest your hands comfortably on your lap, and start some deep, comfortable breathing. As you inhale, feel your belly expand. And as you exhale, contract your belly, with no pauses in between your breaths. Rhythmically and comfortably breathe in and out. And as your mind settles, become aware that your body is sitting inside the room. Keep your awareness in your body totally and fully. Feel all your body's tissues with your mind. You have a sense of you being whole and complete. Each time you inhale, feel your body's tissues expand. And when you exhale, feel all the tissues contract. Expansion, contraction. Place your attention on your heartbeat. Feel its gentle rhythm pulsating through your entire body. Now match your heartbeat with your breath. For every inhale, 4 heartbeats, and 4 heartbeats per exhale. Nice and slow. If you have some thoughts or emotions or images that flow into your mind, just impartially observe them and let them go. Allow your mind to fall into the center of your body and make contact with the radiant light of your soul, part of you that never sleeps and forever observes. Pure divine wisdom. 4 heartbeats per inhale, 4 heartbeats per exhale. Now, as you continue to connect with your soul from this sacred place, imagine and visualize and feel your spirit body lifting upward and leaving your physical body. Imagine and feel yourself floating on the ceiling. Then feel your spirit body rising even higher until it hovers above the roof of your house or apartment. Rising higher above your city where you live. Imagine and see this city as vividly as you would if you were looking out a window of an airplane as it was taking off. And continue to rise higher and higher in the sky, further into the heavens, and imagine looking down on Earth like an astronaut from space. See all the various colors and images of Earth, our temporary home. Now go further into space and see the planets of our solar system. Feel them. They are not dead balls of matter. Feel them as living, energetic forces, each with their own active intelligence, much like yourself. You sense that they are far larger and more powerful than you ever imagined. Feel their power with detached observation. You're going into deeper space. And now out of our solar system into interstellar space. You're going faster and faster. Our sun itself suddenly seems like nothing more than another star in the firmament. You're now aware of various star clusters and other stellar masses, different nebula in our Milky Way galaxy, and their colorful clouds of interstellar gas. We are just a tiny part of the Milky Way galaxy. And you go farther and farther away. And you see other galaxies. And you see these other galaxies as living entities that exist as powerful, energetic beings in their own right. You continue to expand outwards and go beyond the bounds of the universe. And you see that the entire universe itself is only one of countless other universes. Our universe is simply an active, energetic cluster existing among other great, energetic clusters. Relax into the profound quiet that you're now feeling. And feel the divine intelligence. The divine consciousness far exceeds our own understanding. You're very still and attentive. You're connecting with a knowing beyond knowing. Within the stillness. Now slowly allow your spirit body to return back to your physical body. You're slowly coming back towards our universe. You know exactly which way to fly. You're passing familiar stars, other solar systems, planets at great speed until you're at the edge of our solar system. Now you're smoothly traveling past the planets in our solar system and are now near Earth. Quickly locate your city. You're now hovering above your city. And enter into the room above your head. And back into your body. Fully in your body now. Now focus all your concentration on your head center. And see a golden nebula form in the center of your head. As you inhale, it grows brighter and brighter and brighter. As you exhale, see pulsations go in all directions. See it grow brighter and brighter, shining in all directions. Now see it grow into a bright yellow sun in and around your head, with a golden nebula in the middle. See it grow brighter and brighter. The head center is our thoughts and intentions. By focusing on this color as vividly as you can, with sustained concentration, you balance your thoughts and intentions and increase your creativity. See it grow brighter and brighter as you inhale, almost blinding. The head center is the link to the fifth dimension. The higher causal plane within the worlds of existence. You're growing that connection by visualizing this color. Bright yellow. In and around your head. Set the strong intention to raise your consciousness. The intention to increase your virtues and decrease your egoism. place of reason, love and compassion, and peace. And find more balance within you. Wish that for yourself and others. And remember, you're an infinite soul. Your potential is endless and expansive. Now bring your awareness down into your body. Feel your entire body. Connect with it. Connect with every cell of your body. And see your entire energy body as a bright whitish blue, radiating in all directions. And have a moment of gratitude for the blessing that it is to be able to exist here as we continue to learn and grow closer to God. Now, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back to waking state consciousness. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I told you we were going to go on a journey, and we certainly did. But we returned and centered in the head, and feeding the energy of the head center with this specific frequency of colors really helps to balance out our thoughts and our intentions, as well as to connect us more deeply to higher dimensions of reality. And we can come from a more balanced, energetic state, especially mentally, with a level of clarity that is higher the more we do this meditation. And I really love this meditation for this Pisces New Moon, because I feel it's really leveraging the energies that we're working with right now towards the desired goal. As always, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.